Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to the Vet Jet Show. Oh my goodness, this is a surprise live. I have a treat for every one of you, and I'm so excited. Tonight, we have a special guest joining us, and we're going to get into the topic about his book, and I'll give you some history about how I know him. But I want to welcome to the stage, to the Vet Jet Show, Edward L. Keyton. Edward, hello. How are you doing this evening?
Good evening. How are you? I'm well.
Awesome. I'm doing wonderful. I'm so glad that you're here. So glad that you're able to join the audience. And I'll read your bio and then we'll get into it. Of course, I want them to know exactly who you are, what you've done, and how many years you've done it. I had it pulled up here. Of course, I can't find it when I wanted it. But we'll get in. There we go. There we go. Um, so audience, I'll get and oh, just so you know, if you're here, please say hello. Please say hello. Let us know how you're doing so I can say hello back to you. If you're here in the future, make sure you say hello. I would love, love, love to connect with you. But here on the Vet Jet Show, this is a safe place for women to be exactly who they are and really to come and share our knowledge and share our information to drive who we are as women to a better way, a better lifestyle. And I know that my audience is honestly 100% women, last I checked. But ladies, I have a special guest. Yes, we have a man here today. But I'm telling you, this is going to be worth it. So it's not the norm, but this is worth it. And so trust me, you're going to want to come in. But like I say hello, say good evening. But tonight we have Edward L. Keyton. Oh my goodness. He is the Minister Emeritus of the Church of Christ at Boulder Crest in Atlanta, Georgia. And he has served so many years, over 25 years of exceptional service, just preaching the gospel and just teaching so many people. One of the things that he has done in 2009, one of his greatest accomplishments, right, was the Changed Man dialogue. Honestly, just changing the way men think and honestly uplifting Black men. He was a contributing editor to the Oracle's Open Bible. I did get that Bible. My mom got that Bible. So it was a really good Bible. And also, he does mentorship for aspiring ministers, and he has a popular book called Vision Power. So, ladies, what I can tell you is if you have a husband or a man in the room, let him join this one session because I'm telling you, Edward is life changing. Edward changes lives. And Edward, I'll let you say hello and tell the audience exactly how you're doing and anything else you want them to know about you. And then I'll tell them how we met and our history together.
Well, yeah, I think when you all came out of California
Yeah.
and you became members of the Turner Road Church of Christ, and from that point forward, we have a long history. We go a long way back. I knew everyone in the family,
Yes.
beautiful group of individuals. But we've been blessed to have each other as company, as friends, as brothers and sisters slash daughter brothers and sisters. And it's just been just a great pleasure knowing you and seeing your development.
Thank
I'm
you.
just proud of you. I'm impressed, all of that.
Thank
And I
you.
can't say enough good about you because, again, I know your story.
Mm.
And I'm just really excited about what the woman that you've become.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So I have to tell you, audience, usually I do not call him Edward. So this is probably the most uncomfortable conversation that I've ever had with him. When I tell you, he knows all of my family secrets. He knows my whole and complete history. But we're going to call him Edward for the algorithm and the YouTube family. And I see some people have joined us. Good evening, Marion. Good evening, Yvonne. Oh my, if Adina, did I say hello from Seattle? Hello, hello, hello. But let me tell you all about Edward Keyton. Edward Keyton is one of the most profound gospel preachers I have ever met. It's because of him that I appreciate being a Black woman. I appreciate my skin tone, my skin color. And that's why I had to have him here tonight because I appreciate who he helped me become as a Black woman. As a Black woman, as you know, coming from California, we had a variety of people. And then moving to Atlanta, where it was basically African American, that African American people are the Mecca of Atlanta, Georgia. And I never forget a sermon he preached. He said, I love my beautiful Black skin. And I was like, really? Like, I remember, I think I was like 15 or 16. I was like, really? Interesting. And after that, it changed who I was as a woman, who I was becoming. And honestly, it solidifies who I am now. So I had to have him on the show as we leave 2024, going into 2025, because he has a book, y'all, and it's called Vision Power. Oh my goodness. Edward, tell us why you wrote this book, Vision Power. Let us know why you wrote this book.
I've always been a dreamer,
Hmm.
and one who could visualize myself being in a place before I got there.
Okay.
And I've used this exercise over the years to gain things, to for my one of my first businesses, to get my first home, to get my first Cadillac, and
Mm,
all of that I did through imagery and visualizing. And
okay.
so I think the common word today is manifesting.
Mm-hmm.
But I would just sit someplace in a dark room and envision myself being better at a more comfortable place, economically, financially, and otherwise. And it would just happen. But there was a plan along with that. So I was driven to write the book because I thought I had a unique story. I still think it's unique.
Mm,
And so I was motivated to write the book so I could put uh, in writing what some of the strategies that I use
okay.
to make significant gains in life. So that's what drove me to write the book. And I didn't consider myself a writer at all.
Okay.
And I was just tinkering and putting some things together,
Mm,
and eventually it became a book.
okay.
And so that's the essence of it.
I love that. Oh my goodness. And I like the part about the caddy. So I like that. And so you said you were just tinkering with, right? Vision power. And so when you say you were just tinkering, what gave you the vision, I guess at a young age, right? To really know that manifesting and visioning was the right direction to take.
Well, Yvette, I was hungry.
Mm,
I was hungry, and I had read many books about self development,
okay.
Think and Grow Rich, The Magic of Thinking Big, The Prosperity Secrets of the Ages,
Okay.
even a book by, I think his name is T. Harv Eker,
Mm,
The Mind Secrets of the Millionaire Mind.
okay.
And these are books that I read over time. And so, what you have inside of Vision Power would be a compilation of all of those books. These are principles that I learned along the way that I actually put to work, and they do work.
Mm,
It takes discipline, and you have to be still sometimes to be able to see what can be done.
mm.
And so I had read these books and pick up some of the points out of those books, and then I use some of my own story to validate that they are indeed usable, workable, and all of that. And much of it is in the book Vision Power,
And I
along with my personal story.
really, oh my goodness, we're going to dig deeper into your story because I think it's a unique story, right? That one, I know there's so many women out here that are raising Black sons, right? And that sometimes need a direction for their sons to take. And we as Black women have to have a vision for our sons, our husbands, our uncles, which really will redirect how they see themselves. And honestly, as a woman, how we see ourselves, right? And the reason I found this book so powerful right now, because we're leaving 2024, going into 2025, a new year, a new shift, right? Just in America, politics, everywhere. And so this is a book, I don't know if I told you, but this is a book that I'm going to use with my women. We have a career success challenge we're going to be doing January the 2nd through the 4th. And I'm using this book and we're going to teach from this book. So they're all going to get this book. I don't know. I don't even know if I told you that yet. But yes, I'm going to order this book for all of them so they can use it, right?
Mhm.
If I look on page 7, now, of course, I have highlights. I have highlights throughout the book. It says one of the attributes to resolve is to make up my mind that I will not be denied no matter what may come. How do you get that resolve, right? One, there's so many, my audience is career women, right? And
Mhm.
women that are making a pivot. And a lot of them have been denied. A lot of them have been laid off, right? Corporate America is not nice to a lot of our Black women. How do they get the resolve and how do they make up their mind? Or even how did you do it to make up your mind that you won't be denied no matter what comes? How do you do that in real time, right? When life is hitting, and you've been a pastor for years, right? So I know you you talk my mom through this probably too. So you talk quite a few people through this. So how do you get that resolve that no matter what, you're gonna make it?
Well, I think it was for me. It very well could have been intrinsic
Okay.
in that I never knew my father not really well, and the times that I did see him, he was something to behold, and I wrote about that in my book. And he was very well off, but he was a person of the underworld. But
Mm,
his image is the one that I drew from. Matter of fact, his picture's behind me in this shot.
okay.
And I just felt that I was not going to be denied.
Mm,
And also in the book, I talk about what I term a success circle. And
mm,
your success circle will be the people that you perhaps would give some of your vision to. And these are people that would hold that in confidence. But
mm,
what drove me and kept me moving forward was because I didn't have anything to lose. And
mm,
I just felt that I wanted to be successful. You would look at other people and how they're living and the good that's coming into their lives. And I would say to myself, why not me? I
mm,
want the best in life also. And it was not so much about money, but it was a quality of life that I was after. And so, back to the point of your question,
mm.
I had to separate myself, Yvette, from certain company
Okay.
and people.
Mm,
And I discovered that I needed to be alone more so that I could discover who I really was,
okay. Okay.
because I was deeply involved in another world altogether that I call I don't know what you call it, but it was a dangerous lifestyle.
Okay. Okay.
And I was surrounded by criminals. And I guess at one time I might have been one.
But you came out. You came out. You came out. You came out.
I
Wow.
broke free because, I wanted these things, but I didn't want to go to jail to get them.
Okay.
And
Mm,
so I just started experimenting. And I'll tell you a story. I used to be a meat market manager.
okay. Mhm.
And I quit my job one day, but I had a plan when I quit. Now I didn't just
Mhm.
walk off.
Mhm.
But anyway, during this time, I was living with some friends of mine, guys, and they were every night, it was another party. And I
Mm,
had grown past that. And I said, I have to do something different for
mm,
myself. And what I did was I said, either I'm going to get me an apartment or I'm going to get a car.
okay.
So I didn't really need the car. So I got an apartment, really nice apartment too, luxury type,
Really? Okay.
because I could get to work on the bus. But
Okay.
anyway, I went on a 3-day fast, Yvette. I had
Mm,
never fasted in my life,
really?
but this was extreme. I went on a 3-day fast. As I was making this decision, I didn't eat anything and didn't drink anything, maybe some liquids, coffee, and stuff like that. But the fast was just a whole nother world.
Mm,
My hearing became more acute. My thinking, my head was clear. I
okay.
was not drinking any alcohol. There's no marijuana, no nothing. And
Mm,
when I came out of that fast is when I got my first apartment. And from that point forward, I got married in 1974 and up. There was
mm,
some downs too, but
okay.
mostly up. Because I'll say this, what I have discovered a bit is that success is not always in a straight line.
Talk about that. Oh my goodness.
Well, something,
Oh my God. That part.
you know,
Oh,
and
mm,
because it's not, sometimes we'll try something
okay.
and it might work, it might not work, but you eventually you will find the formula that works,
Okay. Ooh.
and then you work it until it doesn't work anymore. But as you're working that formula, you're still looking for other strategies to keep moving forward.
Okay.
Because wherever you are in life, you can get to where you want to be from wherever you are right now.
Wow. So
I
there's
believe that.
you believe that. Oh my
I do
goodness.
believe that.
Oh my goodness. And for those ladies that just joined us, we are talking to Edward L. Keyton. He is the author of Vision Power. And this book is phenomenal. And he's telling us about his story and his journey and why he wrote this. And for those, we have some comments in the chat. So one, you can get the book on Amazon. I did post it there. So of course, Vision Power by Edward L. Keyton, The Mind's Eye, Transforming Your Thoughts into Reality.
Yeah.
And I was telling Edward that everyone that's in my career success challenge next week will get this book. So that is so awesome. We have one of the ladies, she said, I feel like she's pregnant with a vision. So there's so many people that are pregnant, right, with a vision, with a goal. How do you birth that? You know you have something on the inside. You know it's growing. How do you get the strength and the power to birth that vision?
You know, there's a section in the book that I call eradicating the demons.
Ooh.
And demons there is an acronym, and that is distractions embedded mentally obscuring new self.
Wow.
There is a person that you want to be, there's something you want to do, and you're trying to figure out how to trigger this.
Okay.
But the distractions quite often won't let you
Mm.
do it because it could be fear,
Okay.
it could be procrastination,
Okay.
it could be the demons of bad habits,
Mm.
bad relationships.
Okay.
And quite often, you can't move forward until you rid yourself of the chains that bind you. And the
Mm.
chains that bind you could be a bad habit.
Okay.
It could be the company you keep. It could be a bad relationship.
Okay.
But, you know, we have to be willing to go into the future alone if necessary.
Ooh. Oh my
Because
God.
where God is pointing you could very well be just for you. Quite
Mm.
often we're trying to drag the folks that we love and drag the people that we're in love with, and they might not be ready to go. But you
Ooh.
have to go forward, position yourself, and then perhaps you can reach back and help somebody else.
Mm.
Because there are times that you have to make a decision
Okay.
to go at it by yourself.
Go at it by yourself. And you know,
You
I
know
think
what I'm saying. You understand that.
I do understand that.
Yeah.
And you know what? That I think honestly over the last, I would say 3 to 4 years, I have lost some really close people to me. And it's been challenging because I wanted them to come. I wanted them to be with me, right? And so, how do you heal from that let go so that your vision stays current and your vision stays powerful? How do you heal from the let go of the people? Because in 2025, these women are going to have to let go of some demons, let go of some people, relationships, things, because going to a new level. How do you heal from that?
Let me say this. I read a book by Deion Sanders. I can't recall the title of it, but it's in my library someplace.
Mm-hmm.
But something Deion Sanders' mother told him, because he came into a lot of money, he was famous.
Okay.
But he does admit that at a certain point in his life, he was very unhappy. He had the money and the things, but it had no meaning.
Okay.
But and then he had these friends, you know, the boys, and I had these people too.
Mm.
And she told him this has stuck with me, and I thought it resonated with me. She said, Dion, everyone who comes along can't go along.
Wow.
You
Wow.
see?
That part.
You know, and
Wow.
because even though you want to take, you have to recognize your own individuality. And sometimes we can't grasp the idea that you are special. You
Mm.
want to do these things, and you realize that as you look around yourself, you'll find that your contemporaries are not with you in this. And you stand out. You're an oddball. You talk straight. And let me say this also: you cannot speak your vision and your purpose into the ears of anyone.
Wow.
You
Mm.
can't do that. You see,
Mm.
keep it to yourself, and eventually work your plan, and eventually they will see you manifest into the person that you really wanted to be. There's
Wow.
some powerful stuff. I just
Powerful stuff. You know what? The chat is saying, keep it going. Someone in the chat said, "Oh my, yes, Lord." You're speaking facts to them, so they are hearing you. Oh my goodness. But you know what? When you said on page 8, it says ability to maintain your focus in the eye of the storm is key to accomplishment. There is some truth that there's going to be some storms, right? So
Absolutely.
how do you continue to keep that focus? I think you preached that in the eye of the storm, there's safety. Didn't you preach that one time? I think you preached that one time, y'all. Because I'm like that sounds really familiar. This is the book, y'all. This is the book. So how
It's,
do you keep your focus in the eye of the storm?
well,
Because
of course, Yvette, there's going to be distractions, and
okay,
that's a given.
okay.
But it really rests on your shoulders,
Mm,
and you realizing that. And this is something Jesus said on one occasion,
okay.
that through God
Mm,
all things are possible.
all things are
And,
possible.
and not only that, how would you carry yourself if you felt that you could never lose?
Ooh. Oh my goodness.
I have to tell you a quick story, man.
Tell me
You
a
got
quick
time?
story. I got time. I got time. We got time.
Okay, okay.
We got time.
Okay, let me show you something.
Mm,
When I was the fourth black hairdresser to work for Macy's downtown Atlanta in the history of the company,
what?
the fourth. That's when I was the hairdresser, okay?
Okay.
And the man that hired me, his name was Walter Fontaine. He was the director of Glenby International, a chain of salons all across the country. He was the one who did Ron O'Neill's hair for Superfly.
Really? What? Oh my
They with
goodness.
me now. And so I was working at Macy's, making good money, but they had a certain percentage system, and you didn't take the money home.
Okay.
And so I became somewhat dissatisfied, and I started going home. This is a true story. Listen carefully. I would go home and sit in the dark and imagine myself working in my own salon.
Mm,
I would see the furniture in my salon. I
mm,
would see the overflow of customers in my salon.
mm.
And while I'm thinking about this, I'm strategizing because I know I wanted to leave Macy's.
Ooh.
Guess what happened as I'm getting information as to what rent would be. I'm looking for places to put my beauty salon, all of that furnishings. And guess what? I had no money
Yeah. Woo.
at all. Even
Wow.
though I was making a salary and whatnot, I
Mhm.
had no money. But in the interim, as I would go home and sit in the dark and visualize me in my own place, the chairs in my beauty salon and all of that, a young lady called me that I had never met.
Mm.
This is how the providence of God can put things together in your life. You don't know where it's coming from. But
Mm.
this woman called me, and she was the client of someone else at Macy's.
Really?
And she said, I've been observing you, you're very professional and whatnot. She says, my husband and I have purchased a beauty salon
Mm.
in Ben Hill in Atlanta. I'm sure you know what it is.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
she said, we were hoping that you would come out and look at it
Wow.
and that you would manage it for us and we will split the profits.
Mm.
I went out and looked at it. And not only did I manage the salon, but then he in turn sold it to me on a plane.
Really?
But before I got the salon, I was already envisioning myself with it.
Wow.
That's manifestation. It came
Mm.
just like that. But we have to realize you just can't sit and dream. You
Okay.
have to sit, dream, and plan,
And plan.
and things will happen. It's
Mm.
it's real stuff.
And you
And
know,
so,
go
and
ahead. Go
and
ahead.
shortly after that, when I finally decided to go with them with the plan that I was off, I never met this woman in my life. But
Mm.
when I went out to look at the place, it was a nice place. My brother came in and dressed it up because he was an interior finisher.
Mm.
And when I went to my managers and told them that I said I'm going to leave in 2 weeks, they said, "No, I want you to leave right now." But when
Really?
I left, I had already gotten the phone numbers of all my clients. And
Mm.
so when I left Macy's, I was like the Pied Piper. I took all my people with me. But the
Wow.
point is, that's something that developed in my mind
Mm.
and it manifested
Wow.
because I put some effort into it. This stuff is real.
It is
And when we hear
real.
people talk about manifestation, not manifestation, it is real.
Mm. It reminds me of the scripture that faith without works is dead.
It's
So
dead.
you have to have faith and you have to have works in
Mhm.
order to go with it. And that's the plan. Oh my goodness. So when you manifest, how did you maintain that momentum? And how did you know when it was time to shift? Because you didn't stay a hairdresser, right? You went on to do other things.
Oh
So
my
how
goodness,
did
I've
you
done it all.
make a decision? Oh my, that is
He
not
said,
a
he
wealth
said
of
I tell you, look, I tell people, I say, I've done everything but brain surgery.
mm,
You know, it, I was not, I didn't have my eye on a particular thing. I am, I guess, in heart, a motivator.
okay. Mm,
And I have preached and people have started businesses and whatnot based upon some of what they heard me say.
okay.
And I had to keep moving because I was desperate and I wanted something of my own. I never wanted to work for anybody.
Okay. Ooh,
And I think the longest I've ever worked on one job was like 2 years and 7 months. I've been self-employed almost my entire life. It
really?
has its ups and downs, but I was driven to do something and to put my story in that book, and that's just a part of it
Okay.
because I wanted to give back. Now we know a lot of people that we see in the media that are very, very well off.
Hmm.
Entertainers, some just business people and whatnot. But rarely did I see the strategies that they employed to get where they were.
Mm,
So I thought I would put in this book the strategies
strategies.
as to how
Mm,
you can get there. And so my book doesn't promise millionaire status, but
okay.
it does promise
Mm,
that wherever you are in life, you can use these strategies and rise another step higher. And if
mm,
you keep rising, eventually you'll get to the golden ring.
the golden ring. I
The
like.
gold.
And speaking of strategies, right? This is key. On page 23, it says, take a chance on your ability. Your own dreams and desires are closer than you think.
Yes.
They're closer than you think. So
Just
did you
hearing that.
you know did you
Mhm.
know that your dreams were closer? Could you feel it? Was there something inside you that said my dreams are getting close?
I did feel it. I felt, at a certain point, it takes energy and
Mm,
time to do these exercises.
okay.
But I just felt that so much stuff was falling in place until I just felt like I couldn't be stopped. But
Really?
I think that overall, I didn't have a particular purpose, Yvette, other than I wanted to live better.
Okay.
And these were my goals, and they were not so much long range. I wanted a nice home. I
Mm,
wanted nice clothes.
okay.
I wanted a nice car to drive, and I wanted my woman to drive a nice car. You
Mm,
see what I'm saying?
okay.
I have a friend of mine. He called me one day. He was talking about automobiles, and he said, Edward, I'm driving. I let my wife have the good car, and I drive. I said, wow. I said, why don't both of y'all have good cars?
Mm,
We can limit ourselves to a certain kind of thinking.
okay.
You can have two good cars. You can have three good cars. You can have four good cars if that's
Mm,
what you want.
okay.
But and
Mm,
so my priority was I want to live a better life than I had been accustomed to, particularly the way I came up,
okay.
because it was rough, and I wanted to outpace that.
Mm. Okay, so with all that, so you had a vision for yourself and for your woman, right? Which is, and y'all have to tell y'all, his wife is amazing. She's like a mother to me. Sister Keaton is a rock star. So how do you give her your vision as well? Do you guys share the vision? How do you do that in a relationship? 'Cause I know a lot of women, right? They don't have that person that has the same vision they do. How do you get that vision power in a relationship where there's two people?
Well, I'll tell you what. Now she was not always on board with some of my stuff.
You just keeping it real, huh? Yeah. Nice.
you
Okay,
know,
that's real.
she
That's
was,
keeping it real.
because she's very grounded,
Okay.
and she was in the public education for 35 years. She's done well.
Mm,
And but she was not always on board with it because my father was a gambler,
Okay.
But I was never so much a gambler with cards and things of that nature. But I would take a chance.
Mm.
I would try things because it's like this. If you keep doing what you've been doing, you keep
Mm.
getting what you've been getting. In
Yes.
order to get something that you never had, you have to do some things you never done. And
Mm.
so I would take some chances, and sometimes I'd win, sometimes not. But
Mm.
even now, you have to be willing to take risks. You'll never really, I wouldn't say never, but I think much of it boils down to what you want to do in life, who you want to be,
Mm.
and whether or not you want to rise to the highest. You only go around once.
Wow.
You have one time. But I guess particularly, Yvette, I wanted to affect the lives of my children and particularly church members and other people that I met
Wow.
along the way.
Wow.
Even so, even this book, which I think is it's a dynamic book for people who are young and don't have their stuff together yet, and
Okay.
they're trying to find their purpose in life.
Mm.
And sometimes your purpose is right in front of you, but you don't get it. You
Really?
don't see it because we are programmed
Mm.
to go to school and work and get a trade or whatever the case might be. But much of what I have believed over the years, follow your heart,
Okay.
and your heart could lead you off the beaten path.
Wow.
Because right now, most people are still inside the matrix. They won't take a chance. But I
Okay.
just, I was a chance taker, and I got blessed along the way.
Wow.
Some
I
stumbling too.
I love that. And you know what? This in the book it says, do not be afraid to be you. It says many great thinkers and many high achievers have been looked at as being strange or at least eccentric. So how do you handle that, right? Because of course we're talking about the book Vision Power. And so how do you handle that when your vision might be strange to other people? And how do you not be afraid of yourself? Because many times people don't see themselves, right? Many times we're in environments with people and communities that don't look like us, or they don't look like the vision that we want to have, or the vision that we want to see for ourselves. So how do you deal with that when you're the only one in your community, in your circle, looking like you? How do you not be afraid of yourself?
Well, I think it's important that you have a dynamic sense of who you are.
Okay.
And
Mm.
the other thing I mentioned earlier about revealing your vision to certain people.
Okay. Mm.
I just feel like you need to be just about ready to do whatever it is you want to do before you let anybody else know.
Okay.
And
Okay.
there's a song by Diana Ross, and matter of fact, I think I might have quoted it in the book.
Okay.
But a part of the lyrics, she's saying, "I'm coming out."
Oh, I want the world to
I
know.
want to.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
and
Yes.
that's where she's coming from.
Mm.
You cannot be afraid to allow yourself to shine
Mm.
and not let anyone take that from you. And
Yes.
even now, I have contemporaries that might look at me as an oddball because of the programs that for instance, you mentioned changing men,
Yes.
and I don't know of anybody that's ever done anything like that.
Mm.
But I did it because I became somewhat preoccupied with the number of young black men in jail,
Okay. Mm. Mm.
the ones that we're slaughtering each other, maybe 6 or 7 thousand per year,
Okay.
million in jail now. And so, on the internet now, there are a lot of podcasts about what you bring to the table and so forth, talk about the interaction between men and women.
Mhm.
And the pool of eligible men is narrowing down,
It is.
and
Yes.
there's not a whole lot out there.
Mm.
So the name of the game here is save yourself.
Save yourself. Wow.
Save yourself, and be all you can be. Because I
Mhm.
tell you what, there's satisfaction, and you as a single mother, there's satisfaction
Mhm.
in accomplishment.
Yes, it is.
There's some
Yes.
satisfaction in accomplishment, and the type of satisfaction that you can never get from a man or
Mm.
from a woman.
Okay. Mm.
And I think that God sends us here for a purpose. What is your purpose?
Okay. Wow.
Each of us has a purpose. And I know you would have to feel good about yourself because you're helping people
Mm.
to level up.
Level up.
That's a good feeling.
That's a really good feeling, I
I
have to
had
say.
I had a friend of mine. He became a lawyer,
Okay.
and when he before he became a lawyer, I would encourage him. He wanted to go to several people wanted to go to law school and whatnot. I said, man, go ahead and do it. And I have
Mm.
a young lady who is a lawyer, and she loves to argue.
Okay.
She loves to become
Mm.
back and forth, and eventually she became a lawyer. She passed the bar. She's a lawyer today.
Wow.
You know, I've inspired people to open up businesses and whatnot. It's real.
It's real.
You
That's
know,
what you
I
do.
tell
That's
you,
power.
and I'm not boasting at all,
Mm.
but I really feel like I can do anything. Listen,
Mm.
but I'll tell you what, Yvette, what's important is priority.
Okay.
What's important? Now, I mentioned that Cadillac earlier. Now, I use that technique to get my first Cadillac,
Mm.
but I had the Cadillac before I got my first home. That's not a good look.
Okay, priorities, priorities. It's
Yeah, we
okay.
want to make sure they
Mm.
would have things lined up properly.
Okay,
You see what I'm saying?
that makes sense.
Uh,
Mm.
I hope so.
That makes sense. And you know, it made me think years ago, you said in one of your sermons, don't dull your shine for anyone. And I think that is so powerful because I remember at that time, I used to wear a lot of blingy bling jewelry, costume jewelry, of course, right? And I never get someone say, "Oh, you wear too much sparkly jewelry." And I said, "Well, Brother Keith said, don't dull your shine for anyone." So how do women, right? Because women are the most educated. Black women are the most educated women. Black women are some of the most fierce women that you can find out there. They're some of the most intelligent women. Tell what's your strategy to tell them, right, based on the vision power, how they don't dull their shine, are they how they don't have to dull their shine, especially in corporate America, where people aren't appreciating the Black woman and her strength and her knowledge and her power and the vision she has for herself. How does she keep that vision strong even in those circumstances?
I'll tell you what, one thing I think she must not do is don't expect anything from them
Really?
within that setting.
Mm.
Now, you could get something, but you have to learn how to negotiate the pathways of life. It's not easy.
Okay.
It's very it's what's the word I can use? It's rough.
Okay. Mm.
And I think that you have to know who you are,
Mm.
whether you're recognized or not. When I said don't let anyone take your shine, I meant don't let anyone take your confidence away from you.
Okay.
You know who you are. We are a most resilient and brilliant people,
Mm.
but we don't always and you don't have to wait for someone else to validate your brilliance by giving you a compliment.
Mm.
Your brilliance will be shown in your accomplishments. You
Ooh.
don't have to say anything. Just look at me. Just watch me shine.
Watch me shine. I
But,
love that. I love that.
but
Yes.
in all of that event, I'll just say this. Along with this shining and all of that, you still want to maintain humility.
Mm.
You know,
Okay.
I think about someone like President Jimmy Carter.
Okay.
Now, he had the highest office in the land. He was a good man. He's still alive. But he maintained his humility. And
Mm.
even when he came out of office, he went about building homes.
Okay.
And so I look at him as a real man. He was not filled with greed and whatnot, but he was, to me, an exemplary man more so than an exemplary president because he didn't get a lot of things going. But I just like his sense of humility.
Okay.
We are all but people.
We're all but people.
And so when we think about how God has blessed us to rise to a certain level, then it's incumbent upon us to give some of that back. I,
Mm.
I love giving back.
You love giving
And I
back.
tell you, it's something to that event.
Tell me. Tell me.
Quick story.
Quick. I'm ready. We're ready. We're ready. We're
You
ready.
might not know about this. When we first moved into the Boulder Crest location, you know, it's a lovely building. You've seen it.
Yes.
And we were out of money. And
Mm.
it's almost when we got there, the offering fell off.
Really?
Yes, it did. It's almost like they were saying, well, we're here now, well, we're there in the building, but the building was not paid for.
Mm,
And here's what I did to demonstrate my faith in what God would do.
mm,
I had done some real estate. I built, my brother and I built houses and stuff like that, renovated, and I
mm.
made me some chunks of money.
Okay.
And when I made the chunks of money, I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give this money away, some of it to the congregation. So
Mm,
what I did was I took $1,000 the first week and put it in envelopes, 20 envelopes of 50.
okay.
And I had some guys lined up around the building, and I just told them, well, no, that first week I didn't do it like that. I just walked around giving the money away.
Okay.
It was a $50 in each envelope. And I say, there's a point to this. Stay with me.
Mm,
It was $50 in each envelope. And within the envelope, I had the $50 bill, and there was a note. And the note was this: this is a prosperity blessing. If
mm.
you don't need it, pass it on, but don't tell where you got it from. You
Really?
know they didn't pass it on.
They didn't pass it away. They kept it. Went to Piccadilly's after.
Listen,
They kept
so
it.
that was the first week. And then
Okay.
the next week, I gave away another $1,000.
Wow.
And now, what I'm doing, I was trying to trigger something in them so
Mm,
they would know the faith I had in God by giving money away. We see money coming to the pulpit, but we never see money flowing out from the pulpit. And
really?
so the next week, I had the $100 bill per envelope. I had 10 of them, 10 envelopes,
Wow.
the
Okay.
same note inside. And I just had them to pass the envelope all over the congregation. And when I said stop passing it, I kept saying, I said, don't get caught with it now. Pass
Mm,
the envelope. And finally, I said, stop. They opened up, there was $100 bill in there. But
wow.
I was doing this, one, demonstrating to them my level of faith, and also demonstrating to God, I believe in you.
Mm,
And I've been paid back many times beyond that. Not
wow.
paid back, but been blessed like that. So these are some things that I decided to know about. I had never seen this before
Mm,
done, but I decided to do it because I had to be innovative because we needed some money.
we need- we needed some money. Oh
We
my
needed some, so
goodness.
we needed some money, and I'm giving money away.
Mm,
But in giving money, Jesus said it's more blessed to give.
than to receive.
That is a powerful principle that we miss. Okay, you're preaching
Mm.
now. You're gonna start me to preaching.
I love it. I love it. Oh my goodness. Oh
Yeah.
my good. And we have some things in the chat. Hey Carmen, how are you doing? And for the life of motherhood. Oh, I love that, for the life of motherhood. She says the Lord told her long ago that preparation meets opportunity. And I think, oh, that is powerful, right? Because on page 43, it talks about the natural giftedness and intrinsic God-given ability. So a long time ago, God gave you the ability to have vision power, and you gave that away. So, what would have happened, do you think? Let's just play. What would have happened if you didn't give people the vision power, or if you didn't use your vision for a higher purpose? Because that church is still there and it's still thriving, and your legacy lives on as you being the visionary for that, right? The visionary leader. And I know so many women are here, Edward, that need that vision power. So what would have happened, you think, if you didn't like really act on your vision and your God giftedness?
Well, I think that God placed me in that position for
Mm,
that purpose.
okay.
And
Mm,
finding one's purpose can be difficult, but
okay.
I think that our purpose quite often is tied to what we do naturally and do well naturally.
Okay.
It's just like I'm a people person.
Okay.
And then I've even mentioned that to you. You're a people person.
Yes, I love
So you saw your gift. And
Mm,
my gift was in preaching and motivating people. And thank God I've been able to do that relatively well. You have to find your own natural inclination. What do you do naturally well?
mm,
You follow what I'm saying?
yes.
What is it that anyone on this call tonight, what do you do naturally and do well? And you look at that and see if you can monetize it.
My ooh,
People will pay
yes,
you.
yes,
You know,
yes.
we live in America, and you got to have the money.
You got to have the money. You have to have the money.
You have to have it.
Oh my goodness.
And and I don't love it a bit, but I do like it.
You like it.
I don't love it.
Some things. It can do some things.
It can do some things.
Oh my,
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember years ago, you told me, you said you have the gift of gab. You said, and I didn't know how to take that. Then I'm like, I got the gift of gab. And this was before YouTube got popular, the way it is now. And that's where the Vet Jet Show was born, right? Honestly, I'm like, I just love to talk and I love to help people, which is why I started my company, because I saw that women were hurting. I saw women needed a corporate best friend because I saw what they were doing to so many of us, right? And what I also saw was that we didn't have the secrets that they had, right? So we're navigating these waters, uncharted territory with no purpose, no vision, and without a strategy, which is what your book is giving us, is a strategy to be brilliant. So how do you keep gathering that, right? How does one manifest their natural God-given ability? Because did you know at a young age that you just had a gift to motivate and vision? So was that at a young age? Where did that come from?
Well, I think, as I look back through the years, I've always had this leadership thing in me.
Okay.
And I was always different. But I want to say something about, when you mentioned you being a people person and all of that. I just think that when you talk about Black women and that's who you're serving and so forth. And even when I first started to preach in times past, I became preoccupied with how can we empower women?
Ooh.
With not so much within the church setting, but otherwise, because to me, my mother was Black,
I like that. Your mother was Black. Yeah.
And she was probably the highest achiever in her whole family. She was really Black, beautiful woman.
Really?
Beautiful. But to me, the Black woman is beyond extraordinary. I say beyond extraordinary.
Ooh.
And it was disappointed quite often. She doesn't know it.
Really? Oh.
She can't always recognize her value. And I'm looking at her. Matter of fact, I have another book that I was working on, and she would be included in that. The Black woman. The Black woman is to be celebrated for all that you have endured.
Yes.
And one of my favorite women of all of any age is Harriet Tubman. I have a picture of Harriet Tubman in my great room on an easel.
Really?
And I walk by her every day. I said, that was a bad girl.
That was a bad. Yes.
But I'm just saying, there's so much that can be done, and particularly when we take the shackles off of women and give them the respect that they ought to have. Listen. I'm for real about that.
Wow.
I had one of my sons over there. He came and cut my hair,
Okay.
And he said, and he was complaining, and he was just preoccupied with Glorilla. Sexy Red, Megan, Lotto.
Okay.
He just turned 50. He said, Daddy, they are just the image that they are presenting is hurting the young women coming behind them. He bet I'm talking about Black dignity, Black woman refinement.
Yes.
Educated Black woman, well-groomed Black woman. I know some have made mistakes and all of that, and maybe have, and they have to carry a load that they shouldn't be carrying. But there's so much for us to do, and I just feel that I want to be a part of championing the cause of Black women. I mean that.
I know you do. Yeah.
I don't know what else I can do, but whatever it is, I'm going to do it.
You know what? And because I know that for sure about you, right? And when my mom's alive, I think it's been 10 or 11 years now that she's been gone. But
Mhm.
one thing that you helped her do was appreciate who she was as a Black woman. And you helped her appreciate her vision, right? And her vision was always to have one more sale because she did real estate,
Yeah.
to have one more sale and to truly help people, help society, right? And so, ladies, if you don't know, we're talking about the book Vision Power by Edward Keyton. He's here with us today. And it says, be the star of your own show, right?
Yes.
And that's one thing that you helped my mom do was be the star of her own show. And that's what I want to help other women do. So how do we as women, how do we as Black women, how do we star in our own show? And what does that look like?
Well, of course, my answer certainly is subjective, but
Mm,
I think that you have to be in touch with your worth
mm,
and not give yourself away,
okay.
and understand your deep value,
Mm,
because you're most likely to be used when you don't know your value.
your value.
Or
Wow.
you understand what I'm saying?
No, I know what you're
But
saying.
know
Mm,
your value, know your worth, and be about your business.
okay.
And
Mm,
eventually, if you're looking for a mate or whatever the case might be, eventually that can happen. But you don't go looking, just take care of your own business.
mm.
You see,
Take care of your business.
just take care of your business.
Just take care of your business. Oh my goodness. I love that. So manifesting, right? How do we manifest going out of 2024, moving into 2025? What is your top strategy for manifesting the vision that we want for ourselves?
Well, I would rather look at the solution
Okay.
than dwell on the problem.
Mm,
Are you following?
yes.
In that, when we talk about manifesting, is to get someplace and write down
Okay.
what it is you want to do.
Mm,
And as you write it down, these are doable things. And you just sit and give yourself maybe 20 minutes a day sitting in silence
mm.
and visualizing the new you.
The new you.
The new you.
The new you.
I'm telling you, this stuff works,
It works.
but you have
Visualize
to take
the
the
new you.
time and the energy to sit still, but write down what it is you want to do and or be. And
Mm,
as you write it down eventually, then you put a plan next to those things that you want to achieve.
I love that.
Are you following? Again, when I first started to do these exercises, I didn't have my priorities together. I got the Cadillac, but I didn't have my own home, that kind of thing.
Mm,
And eventually I worked past that. But I think in essence, Yvette, this stuff is real. As I've stated, it works.
it works. Mm,
But you have to step outside of the norm in
mm,
order to do it, because I would say the average person, but a lot of people don't understand this,
mm,
that
mm.
accomplishment and money is made with the brain.
Ooh,
It's the mind.
it's the mind.
You remember,
Oh,
this was a preacher back in the long ago. They called him Reverend Ike. You ever heard of him?
no, it's not Ike Turner, is it? Is
Not
it?
external, no, not him.
I don't know, Reverend Ike. Tell me, tell me.
But for lack of a better expression, his name was Reverend Ike Coder. I think that was his name. But here's what he said, and this language and these strategies that we're talking about, he employed these same strategies.
Okay.
He said this: if you use your mind, you
Mm,
don't have to work your behind.
mm.
You follow me?
Oh, yes, yes.
Use your mind. The
Mm.
power is up here.
The power of the mind.
It's up here. And
Wow.
so listen, because the brain controls everything. If you want to change your
Mm.
status, if you want to change your life, change the way you think and
Ooh.
watch some things happen.
Watch some.
Oh,
Piper
yes,
says she
indeed.
knows a Reverend Ike. She said he was ahead of his time. And you know what? Most great thinkers, most great people are ahead of their time. Most people are ahead of their time. Oh my goodness. So it's use your mind.
Use your mind.
Use
Put
your
it to work. That's the most powerful thing we have is our mind.
mm.
Quick story, Yvette.
I got time. We got time for it. We got time.
Henry Ford, who invented the Ford car.
Mm.
At one time, the Ford was a 6-cylinder car.
Okay. Mm.
And he said in Henry Ford, he said, well, if we had an 8-cylinder, it would be faster, more powerful. So he goes to, true story, he went to his engineers and said, look, I want an 8-cylinder block. I want 8 cylinders in an 8-cylinder block. They said, Mr. Ford, this can't be done. It
Yeah.
can't be done. And he said, keep working. And he would come back periodically. They still hadn't gotten it together. Eventually got the 8-cylinder. Okay. They couldn't envision that because it was an idea that came out of Ford's mind.
Ooh.
Don't expect those that work around you and who are in your orbit to think just like you. We have that 8-cylinder now because the man saw it up here first. Are you following me?
I follow you. Oh my, you know what? And I think this is a great correlation. Page 77. You pose the question, do I love myself? Do I love myself? And that makes me think so many times that we as women, we as Black women, we as a culture, we don't love ourselves enough. How do we begin to love ourselves?
Good question, Yvette. I have this is on colorism.
Okay.
I have a cousin. She's going on. I funeralized her in New York, I think in the year 2000. But she was a dark-skinned woman, very bright academically, good-looking, shapely, all of that. And she fell in love with a young tan-skinned man.
Okay.
And back then, the tan skin was the end skin.
It was the end skin.
Even now.
Yes.
She had academically, she was good looking, all of that. But she wanted to merge and be accepted by his family. And they were all brown-skinned people, light brown-skinned people. And this is a value, dealing with value in self-worth.
Okay.
She started using bleaching cream.
Really?
And putting bleach in her bath water. And so her skin, face, and neck were one color, and the rest of her body was another color. This was so she could fit in. These are mindsets that were born in slavery. Because, you know, the whole colorism thing, light skin better than brown skin, and that whole deal. I wouldn't care if you were as black as this phone. Your value is not in your skin tone, but your value is locked up in who you think you are. Don't let anyone pull you off your perch. It's not about skin. It's about what you bring to the surface.
Wow.
In the way of accomplishment, how you're serving people. You know, we have to get past that.
You got to get past that. Oh my God. That is so powerful. For the love of mother said, my God, I don't know how I got here to this live, and I'm so glad you're here. So glad you're here. But everything that you guys are talking about, she says the Lord's been dealing with her for years. And I believe this moment is a confirmation for me. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
So you know what? So let's take you to the preacher side for a minute, right?
Okay.
How do you know when God is speaking to you, when it's your moment, when it's your time? How do you know that it's the word from the Lord?
I think there are revelations when you operate within God's will. When you're listening to him, I'm talking in prayer, meditation, and sometimes it's just good to sit and speak to God and don't hop right up after you pray.
Okay.
But wait and see what comes into the spirit after you pray. So there's a combination, I believe, in daily prayer, prayer in the morning, prayer at noon,
yes,
prayer in the evening.
yes.
because we are talking to the God who spoke the worlds into existence. And I think to understand his omnipotence, his great power, and how that God reached back into nothing and brought forth something. And this is the God that we serve. There's nothing that we cannot do when God is in the plan.
Wow.
And we just don't understand how mighty he is. Let me give you a scientific fact.
Tell us.
The Milky Way, this galaxy that we live in, I'm going to blow your hair back on this one now. This galaxy that we live in is 100,000 light years wide. A light year is made up of the time it takes light to travel in 1 year at 186,000 miles per second in 1 year. The Milky Way is 100,000 light years wide. Wow. And they're just now discovering that there are perhaps billions or trillions of other galaxies like this one.
Wow.
And he made them all.
Ooh,
he made them all. And listen, and this is the God that we serve. Not only will God allow you to write a book, but he will allow you to help other folks just like you're doing. It's in the man and not in the land. It's in you. It's in you. We are unlimited in what we can do. There are no limitations. The only limitations are the ones you put on yourself.
Wow. Yeah, this is what I grew up with every Sunday. This is what I grew up with every Sunday. Yeah. Oh my goodness. So if you had a principle from your book that you said, this is the principle, what would be the principle from your book that you would want us to call out?
Well, the first thing that came to mind, dream big.
Dream big.
Dream big.
Dream big.
You can, with the same energy it takes for you to dream of having a 2-room cottage.
Wow.
You can take that same energy and dream for an 8,500 square foot home. 4-car garage. If that means something to you.
Okay.
I'm saying we are unlimited. If you can think it, if you can see it, you can be it.
I love that.
I'm talking about for real. If you can see, and dream big, but of course, we have to put some work behind the dream.
Okay.
Remember, Brother Anderson, he was Anderson Davis. He was one of the elders at the West End Church back in the day. And we were talking about prayer.
Okay.
He said, yeah, prayer is absolutely necessary because you're talking to God.
Okay.
And God will manifest to you those things that you have talked to him about and give it to you, particularly if you are a responsible person. He says, yeah, get down and pray and get up and hustle.
Get up and get the hustle going.
Yeah, we need to pray, but we need to hustle also.
Oh my God.
But develop that plan and work that plan. And I'm telling you, and of course, in the back of the book, you bet you have the 21-day action plan.
Oh, wow.
And that 21, listen, the thing that another thing that motivated me to put this together was the fact that, and I mentioned earlier that I'd seen other people, we know many people who are very well off. I know some of them personally, but rarely do they give you the strategies that they've employed to get what they have.
Wow.
It's not that complicated. One last story, Yvette.
I love it. We got time for it.
S.B. Fuller was a black millionaire back in the 50s. He was a black millionaire before Ultra Sheen, George Johnson, and also preceded Ebony Magazine, John Johnson.
Okay.
S.B. Fuller, he was a black millionaire, but he had a cosmetic company. And, you go door to door, you sell his products and whatnot. He became very well off by doing that. But anyway, what motivated him? Watch this. He was in the cotton fields of Alabama. His mama picking cotton. He's out there with her. And he said, Mama said, why are we so poor?
Mm.
She said, SB, we are poor because no one in the family ever wanted to be rich.
Wow.
You see,
Mm.
we we have to want to do better, be better,
Mm.
and it's all right.
Mm.
It's the love of money that's the root of all evil, not the money itself.
Not the money itself.
Money is all right.
Money is ain't that all right? That is all right. Oh my goodness.
Solomon said it's a defense,
Mm.
and money answers all things. Doesn't
It does.
it? It
Yeah.
will answer a car note,
Yes.
a house note,
That part.
whatever. It will answer. So I'm saying, I think we're talking about balance here and not getting caught up in just trying to be rich,
Okay.
because it's not so much about being rich. I believe it's about having what you need
Okay.
and having balance in your life
Mm.
and never take God out of the picture.
Oh, I love that. Oh my God, I love that. I didn't even ask you how long you had. I know we've been at an hour, but
Mhm.
this, as we wrap it up, right? It's chapter 5 says the 8 steps to writing your vision, and you talk about Habakkuk 2:2. Write the vision and make it plain. Write the vision and make it plain. What does make it plain mean to you?
It means that when you sit down, when Vet Jet sits down and you write your vision,
Mm.
these visions, these are things you want. Make it
Mm.
plain. What do you want? Well, I want a new Mercedes.
Mm.
I want it dark gray.
Mm.
I want various features in it. Make it plain. I want a new home.
Mm.
Whatever it is, make it plain.
Make it plain.
Write it and make it plain. I want to finish my a PhD or whatever. Make
Mm.
it plain.
Make it plain.
That's what Habakkuk means there.
Mm.
Write the vision, write
Mm.
it down, and be specific about what it is you want.
Mm.
And work your plan and watch it manifest.
I love that. Oh my.
Not always quickly,
Okay.
but in the time that it should come.
Mm. I love that. Oh my goodness. Y'all, we are talking with Edward Keyton, the author of Vision Power, which can be found on Amazon. So I did post the name and the link there in the chat on Amazon. So tell us, how can people get in touch with you if they wanted to have you? Honestly, y'all, I recommend that you have them come at your events, at your speaking engagements. This is a speaker you want on your panel. Edward L. Keyton is the one you want on your panel, or to come to a book reading, right? A book signing. How can they get in touch with you?
Well, the current email, my website is under new construction.
Okay.
So the email is all I have, and all the contact me. Of course, you have my phone number,
Yes.
and if you want to post that, that's fine.
Okay.
If you want to make that public, we're among friends and family here.
Yeah. It's just us here. It's just us. It's just
Till I
us.
get my new site back up.
Yes.
But my email, and of course uh, the other email I gave you on
Okay.
tonight. So
Okay.
both of those are good,
Okay.
and that is Keaton715@bellsouth.net,
Okay.
and also Vision Power 1945@gmail.com. Those are the main sources right now, and of course my phone number.
I
And
love
so
that. And aren't you on LinkedIn?
I am not.
You're not. Okay. There's a one that's Edward Keyton on LinkedIn. I love that. But we can get in touch with you most definitely. But if you haven't gotten your copy of Vision Power by Edward L. Keyton, make sure you go pick this up before the new year, right? Pick it up before the new year, because he gives you a step-by-step guide of how to write your vision, how to make it plain. He gives you the strategies. There is a 21-day plan for your vision. When I tell you, this book has blessed my life. I don't know if you can see, but I have it highlighted all throughout the book. I have highlights everywhere because it has changed my life. So as we end, Edward, is there one word that you would want to leave with the world as your stamp on our time together?
One word or one expression.
Yes, yes.
I've already repeated, and I believe it from the bottom of my heart. With God, all things are indeed possible. This
Mm,
is the way we have to go forward. But I
wow.
want to say I greatly appreciate you inviting me on. It's been a joy.
That's my
And you got me into a preaching mode. I didn't want to preach, but
yes. You have to. You have
uh,
to.
it's just in me. But
Mm,
this has been beautiful,
thank
and looking to talk to you real soon.
Most definitely. Thank you for being on the show. I have to show your book one last time because vision power is what you're going to need for 2025 and beyond to manifest what you want in your life. Thank you so much for being with our audience tonight. I know that you blessed me and blessed, you're going to bless so many more people and women in the coming days and the coming years through your book, Vision Power. So make sure you pick up your copy. And audience, thank you so much for joining. Do me a favor, share, like, and follow this. Share this with a friend that you know needs this word, needs this encouragement, because this is a life changing moment for so many people, so many women. And I thank you for honestly for being here. And Chrissy says, great conversation. I could talk for hours, but I'm trying to be considerate of his time. So I could talk to him for hours, but I just want to openly and publicly say thank you so much for what you've done for my life, for me as a woman, as a Black woman. And so many times I reflect on what you've given me and the courage and the strength that you've given me, and just the love that you have for me and my family, the love and respect that you have for my mother, because it was you that kept her going in so many ways. And it was her vision of us moving to Atlanta, Georgia when I was 15 and a half, and
Mhm.
us visiting Turner Road, and you as our minister changed my life, like for real. And I can most definitely say I'm so grateful for that.
Thank you so much. I tell you, you should have told me this a long time ago.
I mean, honestly, I never can thank you enough. I really can't. I really, really can't. You touched my life and you changed my life and you helped me appreciate being a Black woman. And there's so many days, even to this point, that I can stand in who Yvette is because of you. So I just want to say thank you. So thank
You
you.
know what?
Thank you.
You are more than welcome. A song just came to mind. I was caught up in the music business at one time, and that song, the lyrics, Black Pearl,
Mm,
pretty little girl,
mm.
you've been on the outside much too long, and now you're on the inside
Mm,
and lifting others up. That's you.
ooh, oh my God. Powerful. See, it never stops. It never stops. Oh my God, I am humbled. Well, audience, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for being here. And make sure you get this book, Vision Power, by Edward Keyton, because it is what we need today. It is what we need forever. And like I said, because most of my audience are women, get this for your husband, your boyfriend, your sons, everyone, because Edward Keyton is a manifester, and he is a powerful, powerful man that's changing the lives of so many people. But until we see each other next time, audience, have a good one and enjoy yourselves. And we'll see you later. Bye for now.
Have a good night.
Good night.